What's going on, guys? This is GameStar here, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my frustrations with the game mode My Faction in WWE 2K22. If you guys have been following the community creator What's the Status, he has been doing us a major favor in uploading a lot of the characters, alternate attires of wrestlers in the game that's locked behind Rise and My Factions. Now, my main issues with the My Faction. It's a game mode that promotes gambling, but my issue is not so much with that. Gamble away if that's what you choose to do. My problem is when it's business that's selling something to consumers. If you're not thinking about what the consumer wants or needs when coming up with any type of invention, what's the point? Because if you're making it for yourself personally, that's all fine and dandy. But when it comes to a game that people have been playing for years and have been buying every installment, well, when it comes to that fan base, you need to cater to that fan base. This is not a movie where the market is dependent on the casual sales of movie watchers. No, no, no. In the video game market, it's the hardcore gamers who are going out of their way to buy every version of the game, all the DLCs, and they buy a copy of every edition of the game every year. Those are the people who are the ones who are constantly supporting your brand and your games that you make. The characters that they have in my faction, like Hogan, they got Roman Reigns from 2015. They got Asuka without the green face paint from 2018. They got 2018 Becky Lynch. These attires are pretty cool, and I don't see why they wouldn't be alternate attires that's already a part of the game. You guys added Next Arena 2.0, and that was added for free. You got games like UFC 4 that give their players updates on fighters' appearances, certain ones. They update the move set, and not only that, they add complete new fighters that weren't in the game originally, and all free of charge. Here we have a My Faction mode that the majority of the fan base does not play. And then you have to grind in exhibition matches, which I feel is pointless because why would I grind to unlock weak versions of wrestlers already in the game? Like, what's the point? I wouldn't want to use the weaker version in exhibition mode online or universe. So these versions would be pointless outside of the game. And when you do play my faction, the match begins with the wrestlers already in the ring ready to wrestle. There's no call name of the wrestlers coming down the aisle. There's no entrance. You can't set up championship matches and none of that. This mode is stupid, in my opinion. VC is stupid because honestly, look at the price for the VC compared to the MF. MF costs less than VC. MF should cost more than VC. Let's be honest here. If you have a job and you're busting your behind at your job every day and you work for your money, why are you spending more physical cash than fake points that they give you for just playing? So if you're actually spending money on these packs, you should be rewarded by having to spend less on VC. It should require less VC to open these packs than the my faction points. That's just common sense. And any other game where you're actually spending money on something, hard-earned dollars, It should require less hard-earned dollars than points that can just be earned by playing. But my point is this: like, what's the point of this game, of this mode? Why put this in here if your fan base didn't ask for it? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a WWE 2K23, and then you're gonna add these characters in here, and then act like, oh well, this is all, you're doing us a favor. You're adding something new. That's not new, bro. When you take out content that's been in previous games and hold it just to put it back, that's laziness. You couldn't think of anything new, so you figure, oh, let's hold this back. People, and put something else in the new installment. People will forget about the old thing, and when we bring back the old content, it'll feel new to the people again. No. We remember the good stuff from the past game, especially gamers who are above the age of 30. We have been playing these type of games since it was called SmackDown and nothing else. SmackDown, shut your mouth. SmackDown, here comes the pain. SmackDown, know your role. SmackDown versus a Raw. I've had all these games. Every single 2K game since 2K taken up the license. I've got all those games. There was no mode like my faction in the past games. This is not what's gained this game series its popularity. It's the match types that you guys used to have. It's the large list of legends you guys used to have. It was the ability to be able to create an entrance, to create a finish move, to create a taunt, to be able to create a storyline. Have your own storylines. There was one game I created Marvel and DC characters. I was creating a storyline for that. That would have been crazy about if I actually finished it. But this is what the game's popularity. This is why the game has gained popularity over time. This is what it was known for. It's not known for my faction, and it's like one of those things where if the wheel's not broken, why are you trying to fix it? You're only stopping it. You're only stopping the momentum from going forward, because it's like a step back. The graphics for WWE 2K22 are amazing, amazing. I would definitely give them that, but it takes more than presentation when you're creating a new game. You have to worry about the other content, the other modes. The flagship modes for this game is quite honestly to showcase the universe, uh, my GM, but a good my GM. Um, the career mode in my rise, I guess that's okay. I never really got into that. I'm more of a universe type of guy. But these are the modes that make this game, that made this game successful. My faction had nothing to do with that success. So if this is to cater to new people who are into gambling, I feel like this could have been stuck on a mobile device for them to enjoy. Why put this in our games? Yes, our games. The reason why I say our games because we're the ones who's been supporting it. We're the ones who pay for it every year. 2K don't make these games for them to sit at home and play. They make it for us. So you have to consider what we want. That's the whole point of a business. And you're coming up with goods and services that people need or want. If people don't need or want it, what's the point of putting it on the market? Because if we surely didn't buy this game, it wouldn't make a difference if you made a 2K23, 24. If we don't buy it, what's the you're not what's the point of making it? So when you depend on the dollars of consumers, we need to take our input into consideration what we want, not change so much. Whatever is there that was good, improve upon it or leave it alone. Quite honestly, you could have left 2K19 the way it was and just gave it a fresh paint of the new graphics and added some wrestlers in the roster. Take out the ones that are no longer wrestling and add a bunch of whole new legends that haven't been in the game for a long time. Quite honestly, people who like wrestling, we all know that the Hulkamania era, the Attitude Era, New Generation, the Ruthless Aggression, that is the wrestling that we know and love. This new stuff ain't it. So when you make a wrestling game and you leave out all these wrestlers and you create a 80s Hulk Hogan and leave it locked behind my faction, it's a slap in our face. And then I hear updates on Twitter. What's the status says that the good and bad news about the situation with his uploads being taken down is that the reason why they're being taken down is that they're replicating DLC. The only replication of DLC that I can think of is the outfits he created for the NWO wrestlers, but you can't just outright download those attires unless you already own the DLC. So the people already paid for the DLC. That's not hindering that. The only thing I can think of when they say DLC is these My Faction packs. Because think about it. Look at the amount of downloads that what's the status content gets. His stuff gets downloaded within the thousands. I believe the Hulk Hogan he had uploaded, that's almost at 10,000 downloads. And that's not the only upload he has that's over 1,000. Think about it. These numbers show that the majority of people are not willing to grind in my faction or spend money on VC. 2K has a problem with that the same way how Rockstar does not like gamers to use money glitches because they want to sell shark cards. Well, guess what? We're not in it to sell shark cards, especially with GTA. That's a whole nother topic in itself. The milking of GTA 5. I'm done with that game. Give me 6 or nothing at all. But when it comes to the 2K, make the 2K that we want. You guys had 2 years to make this game. I'm pretty sure there was a list of things that we, the fans, have talked about, what we want in the game, what we want brought back. And you guys decided to bring back a My Faction, a watered down GM, and all these glitches and bugs, characters locked behind modes that, quite honestly, the majority of people don't want to play. I'm going to tell you right now, universe mode is where it's at, baby. I take these old legends, I recreate universe mode and relive the era of wrestling that was good. That's how I want to experience my 2K games. And I can put years in universe mode playing it like this. And I'll even play all the way up until the generation and era that we are now in wrestling. I actually did it. I've done it before plenty of times. This is my fun in the game. I don't care for my faction, and a lot of other people don't. And quite honestly, even if they do decide to release my faction characters down the line or my Rise characters, it better be free, like the next 2.0 arena. Because after spending 120 on the NWO version of this game, I'm not dropping another dime. 2K, it's at a point where you guys have to start realizing that 95% of gamers don't like microtransactions in the game, bro. So it's like it's either you get with the program, or literally it's going to come to a point where when enough voices speak up about a situation, it can affect you. People don't. If people are not playing, if people just outright don't want to play my faction, they're not spending money on VC. What's the point? And for those who are mass reporting what's the status and his uploads, you are fools. There's no way these uploads is interfering with my faction. Remember, this my faction is just a bunch of exhibition matches that you could play in exhibition mode, and all you're earning is a little bit of my faction points and tokens here or there. Like you're not getting anything. Like it's how's it ruining your experience? What are you really doing in my faction that is of any real importance that has anything to do with the core of what this wrestling game was about? Nothing. My money doesn't surely affect your pockets, because just because I don't want to spend money on VC or grind in that mode, how does that bother you? You're not playing with other people in this mode. You're playing against AI with wrestlers, weaker versions of wrestlers in a game that you already have access to in other modes. It's just that now they want to release certain attires. That's all it is. They want to release the tires, but it's the attires that they know fans want. And the a-holes sat there in their office and they said, well, we know fans really want this. Let's put this behind my faction and let's make the grind extensive. So those who don't have the patience for the grind, they'll break down and just buy VC. Not me. I can level up faster in a Dark Souls game than dealing with this. I ain't got time for it. I don't gamble. I don't like gambling games, and I hate microtransactions. I have no problem buying DLC when it's quality in the DLC. These My Rise and My Faction attires and different versions of the characters should have been in a DLC pack included in the season's pass. But thanks to what's the status, I'm not worried about it. It's annoying that other people can't get a lot of these uploads because they're being taken down. But for those who have, thank the Lord, because you can have the experience that you truly want to have and not what 2K wants you to have. Remember, when I go to a restaurant and I order chicken, you don't put steak on my plate. I pay for what I want, not what you want. And with that, I'm done with this rant. For those who enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I got more content on the way, and have a good day. GameStar out.